Bibliophiles of the Internet. My name is Adriana and today I'm here to bring you my August book haul. The first book I got in August was The Accidental Afterlife of Thomas Marsden by Emma Trevane. This is a middle grade adventure type of story, and from what I know it's about grave robbers, and the main character himself, Thomas Marsden, comes across a grave with his name on it, and when he digs it up, it's not empty. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it sounds pretty freaking cool. And if I don't get to this book in September, I will definitely get to it in October because I need to read this soon. The next book I have to show you is Half the World by Joe Abercrombie. This is the second book in the Shattered Sea trilogy, which is actually a high fantasy trilogy that is comprised of companion novels, kind of in the same way the Lumitere Chronicles are companion novels. I read the first book in this trilogy, Half a King, back in December, and I really freaking enjoyed it. I feel like I didn't do it justice in my wrap-up and I kind of undersold it and didn't really emphasize how much I enjoyed it, but I really loved the first book in this trilogy and I loved the ending, and I'm so excited to finally continue on with this second book. And I don't know if you remember this, but this book was actually one of my most highly anticipated releases of 2015 at the beginning of this year, and then I totally forgot about it. And as you can see, by the time I remembered, it had already come out in paperback. And actually the third book in the trilogy, Half a War, has already come out, so I'm really behind. This is for sure getting read in September. The next book I picked up is really more of a pamphlet. It's so incredibly short, and that is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Confession time. Before August, I had never read anything by George Orwell, but then I took a nonfiction workshop over summer school and we read a collection of his essays, and I was like, this George guy, he ain't bad. I should probably read something by him. So I picked up Animal Farm. The next book I have to show you is These Gentle Wounds by Helene Dunbar. This is a YA contemporary novel. It's about a boy named Gordy who lost a majority of his family in a very tragic incident 5 years ago, and now he lives with his half-brother Kevin, and he's dealing with extreme bouts of PTSD. Just when Gordy thinks that things can't get any worse, his abusive biological father, who up until this point has been absent, comes back into the picture and demands a place in Gordy's life, and that's pretty much his worst nightmare. I heard about this book from Max at Well Done Books. He did a YA recommendations video, and Max doesn't read much YA or enjoy much YA, so when he makes a recommendation video for YA, you listen. I actually just finished reading this book before I started filming this video, and now I can also personally attest that this book is fantastic. You will be hearing more of my thoughts on this book in my August wrap-up. Then I got the UK edition of The Scorpio Races by my queen, Maggie Stiefvater. In truth, I don't know too much about this story, but from what I understand, it's about this yearly event where these savage water horses come to shore, I think, and then people ride them in a race to the death. I'm sure there's something at stake for the winner, but I don't know what that is, and honestly, I don't care. A race to the death on fantastical creatures, coupled with Maggie Stiefvater's incredible writing, I'm there. I'm in. The next book I have to show you is particularly exciting because it's an ARC I won from a Goodreads giveaway, and sometimes I forget that people actually win those things. And that is an ARC of Newt's Emerald by Garth Nix. This is the latest Garth Nix novel, and it will be out on October 15th, and I can't even believe that I have an early copy. Admittedly, I don't know too much about this story. I think it might be a YA fantasy of manners. It's about a character named Lady Truthful, whose magical emerald is stolen on her 18th birthday, so she sets off to London to try and recover it. Other than that, I think it contains some cross-dressing and some romance. Like I said, I have absolutely no idea, but I'm very excited to read this one. Then I found a secondhand edition of Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist by David Levithan and Rachel Kahn. I've actually read this book many times in the past. It's one of my favorite YA contemporary novels, but I used to have the movie tie-in cover, and I hate the movie. It's atrocious, and that cover was also atrocious, so I finally got rid of it and replaced it with this one. The next 2 books I have are from Book Outlet, and I only made a purchase because I found a $5 coupon, and both of these books totaled to $5, so in the end I didn't have to pay anything but shipping, and that's nothing. This book is why I made the order in the first place, and that is He Forgot to Say Goodbye by Benjamin Ellis-Sainz. Obviously, Benjamin Ellis-Sainz is the author of Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which is one of the best books in the entire world, and he is one of my favorite authors of all time. I love his work, and I'm trying to collect all of his books. I've already read this book. I checked it out of my library last year, and I really did enjoy it. It's very different in tone and subject matter from Ari and Dante, but it's still wonderful all the same. This story in particular is more focused on differences in culture, race, class, and upbringing. It's about 2 boys who are born and bred in the same exact town, but they live very different lives. One of them is white and privileged, and the other one is Mexican American, so they both have their own problems, and this story really does bring validation to both of them, so I think it's great. And then, just to round my order up to $5, I also got The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, which is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy. Honestly, I really didn't need to buy this book because I haven't even read the first book, The Final Empire, yet, but I have every intention of reading this trilogy someday, so I thought I would buy the second book for whenever that day came. And I also really love this cover. Like, I don't know who this character is, but I want to be her. The next 2 books I have to show you are both brand new hardcovers, and I was able to buy them together for less than $5, which is insane. The first one is Dark of the Moon by Tracy Barrett. I heard about this book from Stacie at Magic of Books, who is incredible. She did a fantastic recommendations video for books that are inspired by Greek mythology, and of course I had to watch it because the Song of Achilles was in the thumbnail, so I knew it was going to be a good video. But apparently this is a reimagining of Ariadne's myth and the Minotaur and the Labyrinth and all of that, so of course I want to read it. And the second book I have is also one that I got because of a recommendation from a very good friend of mine on BookTube, and that was from Ivan at Sona Azra, and he recommended For Today I Am a Boy by Kim Fu. From what I understand, this book is about a Chinese-American trans woman who is the daughter of Chinese immigrants. And honestly, I don't know too much more beyond that, but I do know that Ivan really did emphasize that though this story is told from the perspective of a trans woman, it's about so much more than transitioning or coming out or anything like that. And honestly, that is going to be so refreshing to read. And the very last thing I have to show you is the first issue of the new Archie series, which is by Mark Waid and our very beloved Fiona Staples. If you look at the back here, you can definitely see that this is absolutely Fiona Staples' art style. One of my best friends, Steven, actually picked this up for me, so thank you very much, Steven. And this is a modern revamp of the Archie series, which just sounds awesome. I did kind of grow up with the original Archie comics, but only peripherally because I really did feel like they were a product of a completely different time. They were very antiquated and kind of bubblegummy, and I really couldn't relate to them, and I only read them in the checkout stands of the grocery store. So I'm really glad that someone is restarting the series and putting a modern spin on it. Like, that is one of the best ideas I've heard in a very long time. So those were all the books I bought in the month of August. In the comments down below, please let me know if you have read any of the books I showed today, or if you plan to read them in the future, because I would love to hear your thoughts on any of them. But that is everything I had for this book haul today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page.